technical difficulties with the stream. I am working on it.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need to make me host again, and then I can try to do it. Okay, we got it.
Yeah, we're live.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is March 14th, 2023. The time is now 6:06, and I'm going to call to order the Prince George's County House Delegation meeting. We had a level of business that we still had to get through from last Friday's meeting. And so we, as a delegation, came together to meet today. And so we have a few amendments we need to get through for each one of the bills, and then we will vote on those particular bills. And we also have an amendment to a bill that came out of the Law Enforcement Committee dealing with the sheriff's offices and their duties. And so there's an amendment to change that bill. And so we will be voting on that as well. And in addition to that final vote, we will take one vote on a letter of support for Delegate Julian Ivey, and that will conclude the business for today. We have a few things to get through, but before we start, I want to ask that Delegate Austin bring us in prayer.
Father God, we just come before you right now in the name of Lord Jesus, thanking you for this day, thanking you for the opportunity for us to gather. Lord, let us proceed in decency and in order. Let us come on one accord and let us conduct the business of the Prince George's County Delegation. And please pray in your fashion and to your God as I did to mine. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Delegate Austin. Just for the record, you know, the last two bills in education were all special ordered. And so with those bills being special ordered, there were some issues that we had to work through. So there was a small committee of delegation members that came together on Monday to work through recommendations that will be presented to everyone today. And I know there's been conversations with everyone throughout the last couple of days to see where everybody is, to make sure we're united front as a delegation, because that's how we operate in Prince George's County. And so we're going to move forward with House Bill 1079. And just for short-term titling, this is the school board bill for everyone who is wondering which bill this is specifically. House Bill 1079, PG 502-23. That bill, yes, thank you, Delegate Austin. The record does reflect that there are 5 people in the HGO room. That's one of the perks of having a chair from Prince George's County. Thank you to Delegate Pena-Melnick for holding off our meeting so that we can have the members step into our office so they can all be there to participate in this vote. All right, so on House Bill 1079, we had a number of amendments that we had already taken up, and we were down to one additional amendment that we voted on as that we're going to vote on as a delegation, and that you've been having a lot of the conversations with each individual member on. Shane, can you walk us through the amendments?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. So a quick little preface before I jump into it. Number of documents were sent out to you, most likely around 12 documents. So that's my doing. I apologize for that. But if you want to keep score and like follow along more easily, 2 of the main documents that are useful for this evening are called main sheets. The main sheets are going to be like 1-pagers that have a summary of all the amendments for each of the 2 education bills, and I'll walk through those now. So looking at the main sheet for HB 1079, I'll recap Friday, which amendment number 1 is just a technical amendment that wouldn't have needed to be voted on. That's just incorporated into any amendment that gets adopted. So moving on to amendment number 2, that would have been the amendment that specified that the chair of the county board is responsible for signing contracts authorized and approved by a majority of the members of the county board. That amendment was adopted on Friday. Another amendment is amendment number 3, which struck equally and substituted equitably to align with the terminology that the county board is currently using as its standard practice. That amendment was adopted. Amendment number 4 struck all the language referring to the inspector general throughout the bill. That amendment was adopted. Amendment number 5, that would have been the salary provision that reduced the compensation for the chair and the rest of the members of the board down to $21,000 and $20,000 respectively, and then increased for subsequent years based on CPU. That amendment was voted down unfavorably. There was also an amendment number 6 that also adjusted salary. That amendment was withdrawn by the sponsor. And then amendment number 7 was the final amendment that was adopted on Friday. That was Delegate Healy's amendment that increased the county board minimum age from 18 to 21 years old. The student member, of course, would remain unaffected. On the agenda today, as far as I understand it, there are 2 other amendments. One amendment was touched on Friday, not voted on, but it was Delegate Austin's amendment with a minor modification from Delegate Darrell Barnes. And that amendment would alter the voting procedures for the student members such that students ages, or excuse me, in grades 6 through 12 could vote for the student members. It changes some other things, but also principally would ensure that equal campaign funds are provided to the students. In addition to that, it would require an educational component so that before each general election for the student member, the school system has to ensure that the students are educated on the voting process. And then amendment number 9, if you would like me to get into that, I'm not sure if this would be the appropriate time, but I could, Chair Charles.
Yeah, I want us to go ahead and move on amendment number 8 and vote on that first, and then we'll go into explanation of amendment number 9. Is there a motion to move the amendment?
Move the amendment.
Second.
Been moved and properly second that amendment number 8 be moved. All in favor signify with a sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Do we need to do a roll call? Sounds like everybody's in accordance with this amendment number 8, so we don't have to do a roll call vote on that one. All right, Shane, let's go to amendment number 9.
Sure. Amendment number 9, this is being put forward by Second Vice Chair Harrison.
Stand by, Shane. Delegate Austin?
Delegate Taveras.
Yeah, what's question, what was amendment 4? I wasn't able to catch that.
Amendment 8 or
4.
It was already.
Amendment number 4 is her question. What was amendment number 4?
Amendment number 4 struck all the references to the Inspector General throughout the bill. In other words, this new Office of Audit and Compliance, I forget the exact title, but this new office being established, it was originally headed by the Inspector General. That is being removed from the bill so that the IG is not part of it.
Thank you.
It was already adopted last week.
Delegate Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Does amendment number 1 include a
Only etc.
in the 6th grade through 12th grade?
You cut out there, Delegate Holmes. I apologize. What was your question about amendment?
It looks like amendment number 2 has student representation from 6th grade through 12th grade. Is that correct?
Amendment number 2, I believe, is referencing to the contract authority of the chair of the board. Amendment number 8 would be the amendment that pertains to the student voting. And if your question is, can the student member would still need to be a junior or a senior when they're serving on the board, if that's the question.
It says 6th grade.
They're able to participate in the voting process with this amendment.
So if they are able to participate, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, am I in order or not?
You're in order,
Thank
Delegate
you, Mr.
Holmes.
Chair. So if a 6th grader can vote, then a 6th grader can be a member of the school board. Is that correct?
No,
No.
sir. The part of the law that would specify what the age of the student is, that remains unchanged. And they would still need to be an 11th or 12th grade student.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, you're welcome.
Are there any other questions on amendment number 8 before we move on to amendment number 9? Hearing no further questions, Shane, we can go on to the explanation of amendment number 9.
Sure. So again, this is being put forward by Second Vice Chair Harrison. this is the result of the work product from yesterday's meeting. The amendment, very simply, it makes some tweaks to the salary provisions. The first thing it does, it makes sure that the salary changes all take effect.
Shane, you're muted.
Shane, you muted.
Sorry about that. I guess you didn't hear any of that. So this amendment is being put forward by Second Vice Chair Harrison. It's the work product from yesterday's meeting, and it makes some changes to the salary provisions. They are very simply, they do two things. They make the salary changes consistent at the same time so that the salary increases would take effect December 7th, 2026. That coincides with a date in the statute that all the members by then on the board would have been reelected or elected to new positions. And so this change coincides with that to be all at once. The second thing that the amendment does is it makes the chair's salary 30,000 down from 32,000. So the chair salary will be 30K, and then the rest of the board remains the same at 27.
Move the amendment.
Second.
Been moved and properly second that we vote in favor of the amendment. All those up, there's question. Delegate Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this takes, the school board is going from 13 members to 9 members. Is that correct?
It would be 9 members plus the student member.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate Holmes. All those in favor signify with a sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Signify with a sign of nay. There's none opposed. So we have voted for all amendments 1 through 9. Does anybody want to move the bill as amended?
Move the
Move
bill.
favorable. Second.
Second.
It's been
Move
moved
the
and
bill as amendment.
it's been moved and properly second that we move on House Bill 1079 as amended with all 9 amendments having had a vote. Tasha, roll call.
Delegate Austin,
Aye.
Delegate Ben Barnes, Delegate Darrell Barnes, Delegate Boafo.
Aye.
Delegate Fennell, Delegate Harris,
Aye.
Delegate Harrison,
Aye.
Delegate Healy, Delegate Holmes,
Aye.
Delegate Ivy,
Yes, and I thank everyone for their leadership.
Delegate Lehman,
Vote aye.
Delegate Lewis,
Aye.
Delegate Long,
Aye.
Delegate Martinez,
Aye.
Delegate Pena Melnick,
I say yes.
Delegate Taylor,
I vote aye.
Delegate Taveras,
I vote aye and great work.
Delegate Toles, Delegate Turner, Delegate Valderrama.
Aye.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, I was mute. I
Okay,
was mute. Aye.
okay, I have you. Thank you. Delegate Williams, Delegate Woods,
Aye.
Delegate Charles,
Delegate Barnes just stepped in.
okay, Delegate
Delegate
Barnes,
Barnes? Yes,
yes. And then Delegate Charles.
yes.
Bill passes with amendments.
Got one, we got one more bill to vote on after that. So, all right. All right, so thank you, everyone. House Bill 1079 passes. We're now going to move on to House Bill 432. And House Bill 432, for those, just a quick short title for this is the Superintendent Search Committee. And so this is the bill that was addressed last week. And there were a couple of issues in terms of the amendments. Shane, can you give us a recap of the amendments that were adopted and the new amendment?
Sure. So for clarity, I did go back and watch the video. The bill was from Friday. So the bill was actually special before any amendments were adopted. So the amendments that came out of the committee, I'll go over those, but just so everyone knows, there would be 2 conflicting amendments potentially. So one of the committee's amendments could not potentially work with the other amendment that is going to be brought up today. So again, looking at the main sheet, we're going to go through amendment number 1, which again will be a technical amendment that doesn't need to be addressed. The second amendment that the committee originally adopted would have been a technical change to just address the title of CEO, changing it to county superintendent throughout the statute. And then the third amendment that the committee adopted originally would have increased the search committee members to be 2 members appointed by the county board, subject to certain limitations. One of those limitations through the amendment would have been that they could not be a current member of the county board. So with the committee's amendments, we would have had a 5-member panel, 2 from the county board, 3 from I believe it's the county executive. And then again, none of those amendments were adopted. There is a 4th amendment again from the work product of yesterday. If you would like me to go into that, Mr. Chair.
Yes, could you go through it, Shane? Thank you.
Sure. So that will be amendment number 4, being sponsored by Chair Charles. That amendment would alter the search committee membership to be, instead of 5 members as the committee had it, it would be 7 members. Those 7 members would be as follows. It would be a member each appointed by the chair of the county board, the county executive, chair of the Senate delegation, the chair of the House delegation, and chair of the county council. 1 member appointed by the executive director of the Prince George's County Educators Association, and 1 member appointed by the president of the Association of Supervisory and Administrative School Personnel. The amendment would also make the bill an emergency. And again, that would be, just to do a quick synopsis, that would be a member each appointed by those positions that I mentioned. And that will be it.
All right, and so Shane, that means we need to vote down the original amendment adopted by the committee, and then vote in favor of the amendment number 4 that came out of the work group.
Sure. So it's a matter of preference. I would say that I advised yesterday that it would make sense in my mind to deal with the committee amendments since they were the work product of the committee. But there's not a specific rule that designates that. So it's up to the will of the delegation if you would like to just address the 1 amendment. But the amendment number 2 for sure would still need to be moved on from the committee.
Move favorable on amendment number 2.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept amendment number 2. All those in favor signify with a sign of aye.
Aye.
We have a
Any
question.
opposed?
There's a question here.
Delegate Austin.
That
Yes,
was fair.
is it MSE or their designee?
Yes, it's a designee for each organization.
Okay, thank you.
We haven't gotten to that amendment yet, though.
All right, so it's been moved and properly second, and we have the votes for amendment number 2 to move forward. I'm going to ask that we move unfavorable on amendment number 3.
So
Second.
moved.
It's been moved and properly second that we move unfavorable on amendment number 3. All those in favor with an unfavorable vote signify with a sign of aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Amendment number 3 fails.
Move favorable on amendment number 4.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we move on amendment number 4. All those in favor signify with a sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Amendment number 4
Move favorable on
passes.
the bill.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we move favorable on the bill as amended, with all the amendments voted
have-
on.
There's a question.
Question, sorry.
Delegate
Technical
Lewis.
issues over here.
Sorry, I don't have a question they had. I just had a quick question. That amendment we just adopted, and sorry for my delay. In selecting the superintendent among this large group of people, it doesn't have to be unanimous, right? It just has to be like the majority of them. Like, how is the decision? I see how many people are on there, but how is that decision actually decided?
Council.
Looking through the bill now, stand by, please. It's not immediately apparent from the bill text what the voting decisions would have to be of the committee. I would need another minute to try to see if there's a solution in the law elsewhere.
All right, we'll give you a moment, Council.
You can go to the next question in the meantime.
Yep, Delegate Austin.
Is Delegate Taveras?
I'm just getting, this is the first time I'm seeing this, so I just wanted to clarify what it is that I'm voting on. So I just want to make sure that where it says county board, what you really mean is the school board.
Right, the county
the
board
school
is
board.
listed, that's the school board. That's how
Got
it's
it.
listed in state law.
Got it.
Was that it? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good with the bill. I was just flagging it. Hopefully if Shane knows, just because, if a candidate comes that one of the 7 doesn't like, I just want to make sure this isn't something that like, one representative can just hold up the process. If that's not the case, I think that's absolutely fine, but I didn't see anything. If the assumption is that majority rules, and that's cool, but I just want to ask the question before we voted on the bill as amended, so.
Delegate Lewis, that is the assumption, but I do agree with you in terms of verification on that as well. Delegate Harrison?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, isn't it normally, if it's not expressly said in it is the assumption that majority rules, just like in any other vote, the county council, the members of the House and the Senate, it's the majority rule normally. So if I'm not an attorney, but I would assume that if it's not expressly said, then that's the understanding of law.
I hope all y'all all right.
Thank you, Delegate
Looks like we
Lewis.
lost counsel.
Yep, we need to make sure he's on.
I have to
Unless,
wait for him to come back in.
Kyra can take over.
I am here. I'm not sure what happened to Shane. From my understanding, the question was what was the process for I believe the committee members to vote their nominee. The bill is silent, and so that's what Shane is getting an answer for now. It says that he actually just sent me a message saying his connection dropped, excuse me. But based on the bill text, the actual bill text at this time, those committee members, the committee members would be essentially choosing a nominee, and then the 3 nominees would be chosen by the county executive from that list. But as it stands right now, the bill text is silent.
All right.
All
And the
right.
bills were moved and seconded. I'm fine if that's going to go.
So we're going to call for a roll call. Are there any other questions? Are you fine with the answer you received,
I'm
Delegate
good.
Lewis?
I'm good.
Okay. Tasha, roll call.
Delegate Austin,
Aye.
Delegate Ben Barnes, Delegate Darrell Barnes, Delegate Bawafo.
Aye.
Delegate Fennell,
Yes.
Delegate Harris,
Yes.
Delegate Harrison,
Yes.
Delegate Healy, Delegate Holmes,
Aye.
Delegate Ivy,
Yes.
Delegate Lehman,
Aye.
Delegate Lewis,
Yes.
Delegate Long,
Yes.
Delegate Martinez,
Aye.
Delegate Pina Melnick,
Yes.
Delegate Taylor,
I vote aye.
Delegate Taveras,
Aye.
Delegate Toles,
I vote aye.
Delegate Turner,
Aye.
Delegate Valderrama,
Yes.
Delegate Williams, Delegate Woods,
Aye.
Delegate Charles,
Delegate Barnes just came back in.
Delegate Barnes.
Delegate Barnes says yes.
Okay. Delegate Charles.
Aye.
Okay. The bill passes with the amendments.
All right, so now the next order of business that we're going to deal with is House Bill 433, PG 308-23, the Prince George's County Office of the Sheriff Duties and Deputy Sheriff. That bill passed out of the Law Enforcement Committee with no issues, and it passed out of our delegation with no problems. And it actually passed out of the Senate as well with no problems. But after a few folks reached out to the office, the chief of police, the county's chief administrative officer for public safety, and the sheriff, we had a sit down last week to address the issues of the sheriff's office having the authority to do investigations on domestic violence cases that they respond to in districts 3 and 8, which is currently under an MOU with the chief of police and the Prince George's County Police Department. After further discussion between all parties, the sheriff agreed to amend the bill to remove the ability for them to have authority to deal with investigations. So the bill, as it currently stands, gives the sheriff's office an additional body, an additional deputy sheriff, and it had them having the ability to do investigations. What this amendment does, which was offered by the county executive's office, it removes the investigation authority piece. So it allows them to continue to move forward with having the additional deputy sheriff, but they will no longer have the ability to do the investigations. Are there any questions and pertaining to this amendment?
I have a quick
coming from the committee?
question. I have a quick question.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Go ahead. Delegate Valderrama.
Oh, yeah. Just quickly, and if I missed it, they are okay with not being able to investigate, but when you say not investigate, it's specific to a certain issue, correct?
Specific to domestic violence
Got it.
cases.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Delegate Long.
All I was going to say was what Delegate Valderrama said, to clarify, it's referencing domestic violence investigations only.
That's correct. Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just asking a question on process and procedure. I thought I heard you say that it passed the House and it passed the Senate. Is that correct?
No, it passed delegation. It's still in the Judiciary Committee. And in order for the Judiciary Committee to move the bill, they need the amendment that we will be voting on, the support for the amendment that we're voting on.
Thank you for the clarification.
Move favorable. Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we vote for the amendment that's offered by the county exec's office. Looks like we have questions. Delegate Austin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to be sure the amendment is only striking investigative, like the investigation piece, correct?
That is correct. Only striking the investigative piece. They're going to continue to get the new deputy for the sheriff's office.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I was wondering if our council needed to actually formally go over those amendments, or people have been able to read them. So I guess I think the wording on the personnel is it increases by 1 from 4 to 5, correct? The number of assistant deputy sheriffs. And then is it just a simple like striking the language that was in the original bill saying that the department was authorized to investigate both misdemeanor and felony domestic violence cases? Does that sum up the 2 amendments, or are there more?
That sums it up, and Shane is actually back on now, so glad your computer's back operational, Shane.
Sorry about that. Yep. I'll be brief. The amendments, Madam Chair, it does exactly what you just described.
Yeah.
It strikes the investigative language for the domestic violence portion. It also strikes the language saying that they were not required to transfer an investigation of domestic violence, because that obviously follows logically. And then the only other thing is the effective date of the bill has changed to line up with the fiscal year, so it's from October to July.
So it's moved up or moved back? I'm sorry.
It's moved up to July of this year.
Moved up to July, and that, yeah, I just wanted to be sure. Mr. Chairman, that not just our colleagues, but the listening public knew exactly what, what was in those amendments. And thank you for that. And then I guess afterward, we'll talk about getting a letter to, I guess Judiciary is waiting on a letter before they can move the bill. So
That's
thank
correct.
you. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yep, so once we vote on this amendment and this letter, then that letter will go over to the Judiciary Committee. Shane, do we need to do a roll call vote since this is an amendment in support of a letter?
No, sir.
Okay, so all those in favor with moving forward on the amendment signify with a sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? All right, Tasha, this passes. Can you send a letter to the Judiciary Committee acknowledging the fact that we will strike that language and move that amendment forward? And now, because it's 6:36, I want to open it up to Delegate Ivy. He has a request from the delegation to support, get a letter of support for a bill that he has.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the entire delegation. Thank you for at least listening to me today. I, first of all, put forward a piece of legislation to create the Prince George's County Gateway Development Authority. I sent it through drafting. They sent it through to the Environment and Transportation Committee. I've just been awaiting a bill hearing date this entire time in session. I had a late bill at the late bill hearing. So if I knew that this was an issue, I would have brought it forward as a local bill. The chair of the committee told me that he's not going to even put it up on the agenda until there's a letter of support from the local delegation in support of creating this authority. There's no fiscal note attached to it. I've been working with Senator Augustine on this legislation for several months now. We've been in discussion with the county executive's office, Angie Rogers, talking about who would be staffing it, so on and so forth. He's not running into the same issue on the Senate, but the chair of the committee creates the rules, so on and so forth. So I'm asking that if we could send a letter of support from the delegation in support of House Bill 827, which would do what I described, creating the Prince George's County Gateway Development Authority.
Move favorable on the letter.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We move favorable on a letter for House Bill 827. Are there any questions? No questions?
Mr. Chair.
Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Delegate Ivy, for putting forward this idea. I just wanted to be sure so we don't have a repeat of the situation with the Sheriff's Department bill. Is the county executive or her folks, are they all on board with this? They know what you're after. They're not concerned about a fiscal note or staffing or anything. Right. We're all on the same page.
Exactly. In fact, they're looking to have it staffed within the Economic Development Corporation, which would be amazing as well. So really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All those in favor with moving forward with the letter for House Bill 827 signify with a sign of aye.
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 Any opposed? None opposed. Delegate Ivy, you'll have your letter sent over to Environmental and Transportation Committee. Tasha, can you make sure that goes over?
Yes.
All right, we are done with everything in the delegation. I want to thank you all for on such a short notice being able to pull this together. For all of the folks out there and the listening world, thank you for tuning in with us. We have a lot to go through this week. We are coming up on crossover. And so on Saturday, we will be here all day. We'll have double sessions on Friday and a couple other times this week. And so thank you all for your support. We got a lot of work to do. We're having voting sessions all over the place right now. And so I'm about to head back into the Ways and Means Committee. To the delegation members, I will see you all later, and take care to everyone. The meeting is now adjourned. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly second that we adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.